people who suffer with existential anxiety that stop caring about life. When someone stopped caring about something, it doesn't mean that they've never cared about anything before. It meant that they just had disappointments in their experiences. So the question becomes, why not caring is still a coping strategy for some people. When someone's coping something, that simply meant that they came to the conclusion that they had no other choice but to be this way. And so they use it as a strategy and as a defense mechanism. Existential anxiety isn't just for someone who overthink, but it is also often an adult expression of their early attachment patterns. Attachment patterns that are often repeated become what we consider to be attachment files, because we believe that in your mind, your memory, you have thought files, and your mind have a way of keeping everything that you go through in order and in its own file. Some people might argue with Donald, if we have thought files in our mind, then what happens when my mind begin to go chaotic, you know? And that's only because you can find chaos in one particular category in your life, but it doesn't mean that the rest of your brain goes scrambled eggs. I'm gonna prove it to you. Let's say, for example, you know that your job is about to, close down. And not only is it about to close down, but your department might be canceled and you might be laid off. It's happening at the wrong time for you, as to where you didn't get a chance to even save money and do what it is that you wanted to do. You get what I'm saying? So on one side of your brain, you are going crazy. But if somebody in the same breath asks you, can you make us some spaghetti and meatballs? And that might be your specialty. Now your brain is going to shift files to go, we got our confidence back. We have our self-esteem back. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because you know how to do that right off the bat. If somebody asks you, please do me a favor, take this key. Can you go open this door? You know how to use the key to a door. So you don't have to have no stress or no worry about it. You get what I'm saying? So on one side of your brain, you can have chaotic, and in the other thought files, you can be nice, cozy, comfortable, and confident. You get what I'm saying? But an attachment pattern that's often repeated become an attachment file. And it's the stuff that we talk about in our Elevate Circle. But when you have an attachment file that's often used all of the time, meaning an attachment pattern used all of the time, it's called your comfort zone. That's exactly what it's called, your comfort zone. And so in our Elevate Circle, we have a tab called RRP mode, which means remove, replace, and practice. But before you remove and replace anything, right, you have to first understand, what am I replacing, and why what I'm replacing exists in the first place. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you the reason why it exists. Now, I can't tell you the specific situation through this video of what it is that you're going through, but I can tell you the baseness of why you're going through what you're going through. And it's called your nervous system. Your nervous system is connected to existential anxiety. Now, existential or any type of anxiety is made up of two elements, and it's called stress, which is physical, and worry, which is called mental. And so stress is the physical expression of a mental internal manifestation of something that's going on. So when you see somebody acting crazy or acting out of character, and I don't mean to really use crazy because nobody's actually crazy, but it seemed to be a little off, it's because there's something going on in the inside of them, And sometimes people think that silence, mean peace, but silence is a signal that there's something going wrong with an individual. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes people can take silence for peace when it's really numbness. You get what I'm saying? So why do these things exist? And I'll tell you the reason why. See, your nervous system have been taught that if you don't care or you stop caring, can now become protection when it is not protection at all. You become so numb that now you care nothing about life. You don't care anything about people. You don't care about the person in your relationship. You don't want to hear nothing out. You don't care about friends that might come your way, even family members who want to talk. You care nothing about any of it, because you know why? You become numb, and people mistaken that for peace. Let me tell you something. I've learned that whatever it is that you think, becomes what you say. Whatever you say becomes what you do become your behavior become your identity. You see what I'm saying? But in this aspect, it is not your belief system, it is your nervous system. And now whatever you think becomes what you do not say, and what you don't say becomes more of your action, because what a person will say with their mouth, they'll show you with their action. And your reaction now become your behavior. Your behavior now becomes your identity because of attachment files. You get what I'm saying? So listen, I want you to understand something, that now that we know that it's your nervous system, that's been taught, listen, it's more of a protecting, mechanism for you to be able to not care about life anymore. I want you to now shift this, right? Let's remove that and replace that with these two sayings. First of all, understand your old meaning. Your old meaning says, I don't care because there's something wrong with me. Technically, there is something wrong with you, but at the same time, there's really nothing wrong with you, because you became not caring by default, because it's something that you chose. Although you chose it to be a coping mechanism, there's a difference between choices and decision. You made the decision, I'm not going to care anymore because I'm not being hurt no more. You made the decision, I don't care no more because I don't want to be disappointed anymore. You get what I'm saying? So you decided for that to be, an act by default, but it's nothing wrong with you because of the fact that you don't care. However, you stop caring because your nervous system have learned that it is to protect you. And you're not really being protected. You're really learning what numbness feel about. You see? And you're understanding the difference between numbness and peace. You get what I'm saying? And so here's the deal. There's so many people who are dealing with silence, and they think that silence is peace when it's just a signal that silence is not the solution. The solution is your nerve system that's connected to existential anxiety. Now, if you are someone who've been bombarded, and dominated by these attachment files or attachment patterns, you could do one of the two things. You could either go sit on somebody's couch, pay them buku money, right? Allow for them to ask you questions for you to figure out what it is that you already knew. And you walk out of their office while they're paid. Or you can stay there in numbness and not care about the world and not have anybody want to be around you. Or you can hop on a coaching call with me on this up and coming Thursday night in a community of people who cut attachment files, who have the thoughts that are aligned with them, that work with them and not against them or work on them, who's ready to excel their life, and they're excelling every single day. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not really here to make you feel better. I'm only here to make you better at feeling. So connect with us and hit the link, and I'll see you inside of Elevate Circle.